it causes shrinkage. It causes pulling at the junction of the bonding agent and the restorative material. If the polymerization shrinkage forces are very heavy than the bond strength of the bonding agent, then there might be a bond leakage at the junction. So now to understand this factor, to understand this inherent property, there is one more factor, we call it as C factor, that is the number of bonded surface divided by number of unbonded surface. What do you mean by bonded surface? Bonded surface means they are bound to the tooth. They are bounded to the tooth with the help of bonding material. So there is no flow activated. The material and the base is all fixed. It cannot move anywhere. Where in case unbonded surface, they are open. So even if there is a polymerization shrinkage, the material can be compensated in the next layer. So if you see this C factor, in case of class 5, there is only one bonded surface towards the tooth and there are 5 unbonded surfaces. The C factor is very low. So in cases wherever there is a higher amount of C factor, then there is going to be a more amount of stresses, polymerization stresses on the bond at the junction of the restoration and the material. So we have to go for different methods so that we can have less amount of polymerization shrinkage, or we can compensate for this polymerization shrinkage and reduces the stresses at the tooth and the material interface. So what are this technique? We can go in a different increment. You can see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 small increment of 1.5 millimeters, so that you can have good depth of cure and you can always maintain the ratio of bonded and unbonded surfaces. Even if there is a shrinkage, if you can see that from the top, whenever the light is curing the composite, even if there is a shrinkage towards the surface, you can always add a next layer and compensate for this shrinkage. Now, whenever you are doing a class 2 cavities or you are doing a deep proximal cavities, at that time the light may not pass directly to that area. So to change the vector of light, we have light transmitting transparent wedges which are used to put it interproximally and then cure the interdental area, so that you get a better penetration of the light and exposure to light and reduce the polymerization shrinkage. Now this degree of conversion, this is the measure of percentage of carbon-carbon bonds that have been converted to single bond to form a polymeric resin. Now the more the degree of conversion, lesser, or the more the degree of conversion, better is the composite as a physical property. Because if there is a less conversion of monomer, then it will remain inside that bulk or a dove inside the tooth, and then it will later cause other damage to the physical and the mechanical properties of the composite. So the degree of conversion is more important. So the direction of curing and incremental technique is one of the important part of your composite. Now, where are these composites are indicated? They are indicated in class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4, class 5 and class 6 cavities also. They are used for diastema closure, they are used for core buildups, they are used as a pit and finish sealant, they are used as aesthetic enhancement procedures for recontouring, restructuring of the visible part of the tooth, and they are used for the periodontal splinting also. Now, where this composite resin cannot be used, where you cannot isolate the restorative tooth or restoration area, if there is a contamination of saliva or water by any chance, then in that cases you cannot poorly erupted teeth or inflamed gingiva, then you cannot use this composites in that area. Then whenever there are masticative, whenever you check the occlusion and there are excessive masticative forces, then you cannot use this composite. And whenever you find that there is a poor oral hygiene, then in that case the composite resin are contraindicated, they should not be used. Now, what are the advantages of this composite resin over other restorative material? Because composite resin has got highest aesthetic value, they do not corrode, they do not form any corrosion product which are like silver amalgam. They are very conservative. Whatever the caries are there, In that small area, it can be placed, it can be packed, it can be injected. This is the beauty of composite resin. They are available in different forms and different packable packing, so that it can be used in multiple areas and it can be versatilely used. It has got a very low thermal conductivity, so it is more passiving to the as compared to the metallic restoration to the pulp, and they are almost used everywhere for direct as well as indirect restoration. And irrespective of or very unlikely of its counterpart, that is your metallic restoration, that is silver amalgam or other cements, it can be repairable. So whatever part of the composite resin is bad or it is fractured, it can be repaired, and there is no need to replace the whole restoration. You can save the tooth, you can extend the life of the restoration to the maximum. Now, what are the inherent disadvantages or what are the limitations of this composite resin? They have polymerization shrinkage, they are very technique sensitive, they may exhibit more occlusal wear in areas of higher stresses. Yes, the compressive strength of the composite is a little lesser, but now the modified composite resins which are available, they also come up with a better compressive strength. The coefficient of linear expansion is a little higher. It is time consuming, it has to follow all the steps. You cannot jump any steps. It is not so user friendly. It has to be followed in that manner. You have to do bonding, etching, drying, and then place it. Some composite resins shows excessive staining also because of the habits of the patient, but the affinity for staining is also more in composite resin. Then it is expensive as compared to the other restorative material, or is expensive as compared to the amalgam restorative material. So if the question is asked to you in a different way, that what are the advantages and disadvantages of amalgam and composite resin, all these factors, all these things you should be able to write in your answer. Now next topic is finishing and polishing of the restorations in conservative dentistry, right? Now finishing is a process of removing surface defects and scratches created during the contouring process through the use of cutting or a grinding instrument or a bone. What does it mean? That whenever you are doing a restoration and you are allowing that restoration to set, or you are contouring that restoration during the initial setting time, whatever application method you use, there are going to be some amount of surface irregularity or surface defects in that material. So this can be minimized at the time of doing finishing. Gross finishing can be done at the time of initial set or a delayed setting also, or it can be done later also. And polishing is the method, process by which it is going to provide a luster or a glossy surface to the material. So this is the basic difference between finishing and polishing, which is the integral part of any restoration. Whenever there is a question is asked in the university about any material, don't forget to write about finishing and polishing of the restorative material. That is very important. Now, what is the basic difference between finishing, cutting, grinding, polishing and abrasion? Finishing is a process of removing the surface defects or scratches created during the contouring process through the use of cutting or a grinding instrument or bone. And what is cutting? Cutting is a process of removing material from the substrate by use of a blades, burr or abrasive embedded into banding matrix or a burr or a disc. Now cutting of the restorative material can be done, it is generally done after the setting, but gross finishing can be done during the setting also. Now grinding is a process of removing material from the substrate by abrasion, relatively by the coarser particle. The coarser particle is the hard particle which has got a more compressive strength and a physical property than the restorative material, so that it can grind it out and give a good shape, form to have a good physiologic function inside the oral cavity. Now abrasion is a process of wear whereby the hard and rough surface like sandpaper disc or hard irregular shaped particles like those in a slurry grooves in a softer material and to cause the material to form a disc or a different abrasive points. Now, in which form these finishing and polishing agents are available? The finishing agents are like burrs and points. The finishings are available in an abrasive silicon strip also. They are available in different burrs, and they are available in mounted rubber wheels also. Now polishing agents are abrasive finishing strips, finishing burrs and points, brushes, mounted rubber wheels. There are different cloths, felt and coated disc also. Now, goal of finishing and polishing. Why do we have to do this? What we are going to achieve? That is the goal of finishing and polishing, right? To obtain a desired anatomy, to obtain a proper occlusion, reduces the roughness, gouges and the scratches on the set surface of the restoration. The surfaces should be well tolerated by the oral tissue. To prepare the restored surfaces to be well tolerated by the oral tissues. To resist the bacterial adhesion, excessive plaque accumulation, when the plaque deposits and exits, they should be easily removed by the toothbrushing and the flossing. So these are the goals which are kept in the mind at the time of using the finishing and polishing, so that the restoration will have a proper form, function and contour, so that the less amount of plaque is going to get adhered to it, and if any plaque is getting adhered, it can be brushed or polished from the surfaces. Now, what are the benefits of finishing and polishing? Are again one and the same. Minimal irritation. They should cause minimal irritation to the soft and hard tissue, so that it should stimulate the natural tooth surface aesthetics, less likely to trap food debris and plaque, reduces potential tooth corrosion, and it should create a restoration more hygienic for maintenance. Now, grinding and finishing abrasives and cutting discs provide the fast contouring and finishing of the restorations. They are made up of aluminum oxide, silicon carbide and diamond particles. Aluminum oxide is most preferred choice of abrasive for composite as well as for the enamel surface. Now, diamond abrasives are more expensive. They last long and they have a faster working time. They provide mirror finish to the surfaces as well as to the tooth. These instruments are preferred for porcelain and ceramic because it will be very aggressive on those parts also. Now, silicon carbide is preferred material for amalgam, gold polishes and acrylic polishes because it won't cause discoloration. The silicon carbides should not cause any discoloration. So they are preferred among amalgam and gold polishes. This comes in variable shapes and suitable materials so that it can be used in different parts of the oral cavity. Just like diamond and carbide, finishing and polishing instruments come in a range of shapes and suitable for certain material and procedure. So the choice of the instrument and the shape will be divided by both procedure and the material. So finishing and polishing agents will not be same for amalgam. They will not be same for the composite. They will differ by the choice of material, choice of place of where the restoration has to be finished and polished. Now, these are the way these abrasives are available in a coarse, medium, fine and super fine grades. Now, these grades are again color coded so that we have easily standardization to pick them up and use it. Now, generally instrument used for finishing and polishing. These are the finishing burrs. Now, lesser the number of cutting blades to the burr, more aggressive it is. So the finishing burrs will have different gradations and they should be used from lesser burrs to the flutes to the more flutes. That means they are available from 8, 10, 16, 20 and 30 flutes. So initially you should use the finishing burr with the 8, then 12, then 16, then 20 and 30 so that you will get a uniform smooth surface and the finished luster of the material. Now these diamond burrs are abrasive points. They are available in the forms of stones, different attachments. They come at low speed, high speed, and these coated abrasive discs are for the gross reduction, that is aluminum oxide, as I told to you. Now they are medium and fine are also available with the flexible discs which are used for composite restoration. Now these for finishing and polishing you get different cups also. the pumice paste or different polishing pastes are also available, different wheels are also available, and this finishing points in different shapes are also available. Now for amalgam finishing, madam has already covered. This is amalgam finishing kit which has got brown, green and super green. Now for composite, they have green and white. This green, they are used in a sequence. It contains different shapes and size, and gloss finishing can be done with the white also. For glass ionomer, generally the tricky question is asked when the finishing and polishing of the glass ionomer is done. The gross finishing and finishing of the glass ionomer is done at the time of at the end of the restoration with the help of sharp instrument or a blade, and the final finishing and polishing of the glass ionomer should be done after 24 hours. That is the most common Viva questions about the glass ionomer finishing, and these finishing kits are also available for high gloss and a uniform surface. Now for the gold direct, indirect restoration, these are the different forms in which they are available: blue, green and super green. There are wheels and points which are available.